A mid-career professional sits in a glass conference room, receiving a 4% merit raise. He smiles and thanks his manager. He believes he is moving forward. He believes his income is expanding and his future is secure. What he did not know was that inflation and tax brackets had already erased every single dollar of that increase before the meeting even started. The company did not give him a raise to build his wealth. The company gave him just enough capital to maintain his lifestyle without giving him enough leverage to ever walk away. Most professionals spend 30 years inside this cycle. They believe earning more salary is the path to independence. In reality, salary is designed to keep you returning to the desk every Monday morning. The architecture of corporate retention relies on financial illiteracy. When you do not understand how capital actually behaves, you accept the illusion of progress. Long before an adult enters the corporate machine, their baseline perception of money is already formed. In Japan, parents teach 6 foundational money rules before a child turns 12. These are not basic piggy bank tips. They are structural economic filters that prevent institutional dependence later in life. If you want to stop getting blindsided by workplace systems nobody explains, subscribe. Most people believe that building financial security is simply a matter of earning a higher income. They think that if they work hard enough, climb the corporate ladder, and secure higher titles, the money will naturally organize itself. That sounds fair until you look at what is actually happening. High-income professionals frequently live paycheck to paycheck because spending scales directly with corporate status. Corporate environments construct subtle social pressures that force employees to upgrade their lifestyle to match their job title. This creates an invisible golden cage. You earn more money, but your exit leverage remains exactly zero. The traditional view assumes that adults can learn budgeting whenever they enter the corporate workforce. From the outside, it looks normal. Structurally, it is not. By the time an individual enters the labor market, their psychological relationship with debt status and spending is already entrenched. If a person is raised to view money as something to be spent immediately, they will spend their adult life trapped in mandatory employment. To break this cycle, you must understand the real architecture behind financial training that prevents institutional dependence. Japanese economic culture embeds 6 structural principles before adulthood. These rules strip away the illusion of salary and replace it with systemic control. The first rule is kakeibo, or the physical visual ledger. Most people track their finances passively through bank apps after money is spent. Kakeibo forces a manual pause before capital is allocated. It requires answering 4 precise questions. How much capital is available? How much must be saved? How much is spent? What is the actual utility of that spend? When children learn this framework early, they develop an acute awareness of cash flow. They see money as an operational tool rather than an emotional reward. In a corporate career, this prevents the salary trap. You instantly recognize when an enterprise is overpaying you to buy your compliance. The second rule is mottainai, which focuses on eliminating silent systemic waste. In traditional finance, people focus on major expenses like housing. They ignore silent recurring friction. Mottainai teaches that small, unnoticed leaks quietly hollow out a large financial reserve. In the corporate world, this applies to unused subscriptions, microdebt, and status spending. Employees often waste 20% of net income on convenience purchases caused by workplace burnout. When a child learns mottainai, they audit every recurring friction point. They protect capital reserves with the same vigilance a corporation uses to protect operating margins. The third rule is sanpo-yoshi, which means 3-way benefit. This rule dictates that any transaction must benefit the buyer, the seller, and society. Children are taught never to pursue one-sided gain or impulse consumption. In the professional arena, this principle creates strategic immunity. Employees who understand sanpo-yoshi do not sell their long-term freedom for short-term corporate bonuses. They analyze incentives. They evaluate whether an employer is offering a true mutual exchange or exploiting their lack of options. The fourth rule is separating utility from status signaling. Corporate culture converts income into visible indicators of rank. Expensive vehicles and luxury housing send signals to peers. Japanese financial tradition teaches children to measure an object strictly by its functional output. If an item does not increase productivity, security, or capability, it is an operational liability. When a worker adopts this filter, status games lose their power. HR departments cannot manipulate them with impressive titles or lifestyle perks, because the worker calculates real net value rather than superficial appearance. The fifth rule is OSAIHO, or the four-pillar allocation engine. Before a child receives any earnings, the capital is automatically divided into four distinct buckets: savings, investment, personal development, and discretionary spend. Discretionary spending is always the final bucket. Most corporate workers operate in reverse. They pay expenses, buy comfort items, and save whatever tiny residual remains. That is why salary increases rarely lead to wealth accumulation. By fixing allocation percentages early in life, savings become an involuntary operational tax on your own income. The sixth rule is systemic independence. A child is taught that reliance on a single source of survival is a structural vulnerability. In Japan, young individuals are encouraged to understand side trade skills and asset building long before entering the workforce. When an employee relies entirely on a single corporate paycheck, they have zero negotiating power. The company owns their time, their focus, and their decisions. By diversifying income mechanisms before entering the workforce, you build real exit leverage. The signal was there. He just did not know it was a signal. There is a second layer to this mechanism that most employees never realize. Corporate compensation models are specifically designed around employee desperation. Human resources departments analyze market data to determine the precise threshold required to keep an individual working without enabling them to accumulate true freedom capital. Higher positions come with higher lifestyle expectations. Senior managers receive stock options that vest over 4 years, specifically to lock their future mobility. They receive performance bonuses that cover debts accumulated to maintain their corporate image. The organization creates an internal economy where financial survival depends on staying compliant with company culture. The system was never designed to make you financially independent. It was built to optimize your productivity while minimizing your mobility. If you were taught as a child that money is merely a vehicle for status, you willingly step into this machine. You mistake a larger golden cage for true career progress. What most people never see is what this hidden system quietly causes over time. When individuals enter the labor market without these foundational money rules, the invisible consequences compound over decades. They accept unpaid extra labor because they cannot risk losing their position. They remain silent during toxic corporate restructurings because their cash buffer is non-existent. They accept low-leverage salary increases that do not keep pace with real inflation. Salary stagnation locks them into the wrong perception of their worth. They spend prime professional years building equity for an organization that views them as an interchangeable line item on a balance sheet. When a sudden layoff arrives, they are left with zero leverage, high fixed overhead costs, and panic. To break free from this trap, you must shift your perspective. The fundamental issue in your career is not just your talent, your effort, or your loyalty. The issue is how the system is structured and what signals you reward with your capital. Earning money is an offensive skill, but retaining capital is a defensive architecture. If you do not control your baseline financial allocation, the corporate ecosystem will dictate it for you. The 6 Japanese rules are defense mechanisms against institutional exploitation. When you master these rules, your reliance on company approval vanishes. You stop viewing a salary as a lifeline and start viewing it as raw material for your personal enterprise. An employee with 6 months of living expenses and zero debt is dangerous to a dysfunctional company. An employee with zero reserves and high monthly obligations is completely predictable. The corporate machine thrives on predictable human behavior. The decision to keep you trapped was made long before you realized you were being judged. If you do not manage the signal, the organization will do it for you. The ceiling only works if you do not know it is there.